Hello, welcome to this part of C programming series. In this part, we will study about strings, how to declare strings, how to initialize strings, how to copy, how to find their length, how to concatenate their length. Strings are perhaps the most common entities in programming. All the text which we handle in computers are done through strings. Strings are not most commonly used in C, even in C++ or Java or Python, any language you take, you will have to deal with strings, with text. Text is more frequently used than numbers. Essentially, computers deal with numbers or text. Even symbols are text. Symbols on keyboard are text. C strings are built on top of char data type, which is our primitive data type. C strings are null terminated, which means to mark the end of string, C uses null character, which is \0, or its ASCII value is 0. It has pros and cons. The advantage is that it gives you efficiency. It is fast to do that. And storage wise, it is better. Other ways to implement strings, which you will see when you read C++, is to store its length. Storing its length is good because it leads to safety. C strings are somewhat dangerous because you must have \0, otherwise it will not terminate. C strings can be array of characters or pointer to characters. And C library provides several utility functions, and I have mentioned 4 of them: strlen, strcpy, strcat, strcmp. We have already seen strcmp and many others, but these are most frequently used. So let us do a hands-on session on strings and we try to understand how to declare them and initialize them. So we go to Eclipse, and in our main you see I have declared a character array A of size 10, which contains string 6 characters, but actually it contains 7 because \0 is invisible, that is added by program. Next line I have declared a string which is the pointer version str, my string, which is exactly 10 characters. 9 you can see, and 10th is \0. If you see the explicit declaration of \0 in str1, you notice how I have given \0 at the end, and then I have printed all 3. Now I declare another character array of 20 characters, and then I copy string 1 to string 2. Then I print string 2. Then I call strcat, and we concatenate str2 and str. So str2 will become string my string, and then I print str2. And then I try to find the length of str2 by calling the function strlen. You can see the description of all these functions by putting your mouse over them. So the description reads, this copies characters from the string up to and including the terminating null character into the string, like memcopy. This function has undefined result if the strings overlap. When we say overlap, that means overlap in memory. And then we have strcat. So similar to strcpy, except that these are concatenated instead of overriding. And then we have strlen, which gives you the length of null terminated bytes. And then I have two functions, f and g, which is our implementation of strlen and strcpy. We'll see them later. Let's first run this program. You see, first line is the first printf, string my string, and then string, which is str1, the last string. The second printf simply prints str2 after strcpy, which is string, which will contain string because str1 was string. Then after concatenation, it becomes string my string. Then call to strlen, which is the length of this 6 plus 9, that is 15. Backslash 0 is not included. Now we have 15, which is the result of f, and f is an equivalent function to strlen. Very easy to implement. You can see its code and you can find out how to implement yourself. And similarly g, which is similar to strcpy. It's very easy to implement. But as you notice, there are problems. One is the problem that you are relying on backslash 0. But you cannot do anything with this because C assumes strings are backslash 0. However, there are other problems. What if the destination does not have enough bytes, enough size to store the source? So there are safe versions of these functions. Those functions are strncpy, strnlen, strncat, and so on. But then you have to specify the size, how much you want to copy. So see, if you take over this and let's say str2, str1, and say 5, then you will see there is a safer version available. It's always recommended that you use the safer version, strncpy and other functions. To use these functions, you must include string.header file. You should look up the documentation of your C compiler to know more functions available from this header and how to use them. One of the useful functions is called strtok, which is used to split the function. You can implement all these functions yourself, and I'll recommend that you try to implement them. One point of warning which I would like to give you is this. See this str. So when you say its size 10, its size is 10. We have not said 10. It's a pointer. And you see that array 10. These are all stored on stack, and you should not try to write beyond their size. If you do that, that will lead to overwriting other pieces of variables which are there on stack. You should always write within your predefined size. That's it from strings. See you in next session of C programming.